reason why it's a really low quality camera with really dodgy sound is that my laptop crashed again over the summer. So someone had to come out and basically just tore out the hard drive there and then and put in a new one. So everything is gone. I can't for the life of me find the webcam video making thing. So I'm using a different laptop that the college gave me. And with my laptop, they also gave me an iPad, which has a funny story, but I'll get to that. So I'm trying to work through it chronologically. Where did I get to? Teaching. I've got 7 classes. Obviously, having 7 classes, none of them are particularly large. I think my biggest class is 21. My smallest class is 12. But that still means I have a lot of names to learn. And it's just, I'm horrible with names. Horrible with staff names, horrible with kids' names. So it took me a while, and unless the kids were particularly talkative or particularly clever, so basically if I'm not shouting at them or I'm not constantly praising at them, I have no idea who they are. And one of my classes, the upper 6th double maths, very, very quiet group. I mean, really quiet. There is absolutely no one there that causes much chaos. In fact, causes any chaos. And no one there's really talkative either. They would just sit and do the work in absolute silence. So learning their names was a nightmare. My other upper 6th class, a couple of them are talkative, which I don't mind because they're still smart enough to do the work and talk, so I let them get away with it. But again, there were some that are not very talkative. So again, it just meant that there were some whose names I just didn't have a clue. In fact, still not 100% of all their names, but I'm getting better. Unfortunately, 2 weeks after I started, there was a parents' evening for the upper 6th, which meant that, I mean, not everyone came because not everyone's parents can get to and from the school easily, especially when you have Chinese and Russian kids. But a lot of people still turned up, and considering that I wasn't entirely sure on all of their names, in fact I think at that point I was only sure of about 5 names out of about 27, 28. So it was really interesting, and it kind of got to the point where I stood there with my mark book and I was like, I have no idea who you are. Your name tag tells me Mrs. whatever, but I have no idea, and clearly this is your son, and I can't remember what class he's in. So I thought, I can't openly admit I have no idea who your child is. So I just had to get really creative. And a couple of the teachers kind of stood in the background kind of laughing about how creative I got trying to deduce who these children were. I think the best solution I got to was asking the kids, which topics have you found really difficult that we've done so far? Because I was doing 2 completely different courses with them. So depending on their answers, I could then work out which class they were in. A couple of the kids were not really helping. And they were like, oh, I found it all really easy. And it's like, anything in particular that you found really easy? No, it was all the same. Help me. They just weren't having it. So apart from those ones, it was a nightmare. It was fine. Those ones were nightmarish, but it was okay. I survived. And it was fine. And then I went back to teaching, and everything was pretty much just standard. I mean, because I'm a really, really new member of staff, I don't have to help out with sports, which happen almost daily. But I don't have to help out, which is good. I mean, even the PGC student, she actually, every Wednesday afternoon, she dons her Wellington boots, waterproofs, and goes and helps out on the school farm. And it just happens a lot of kids that work on the farm, that volunteer on the farm, are in my classes. So when we chat, Oh yeah, the school has a PGC student that started just after I did. So she and I will chat a lot, and we'll usually compare notes on the kid, and I'll be like, oh yeah, he was saying this or this. Like, oh yeah, he told me about that. It's quite funny. We just compare notes, and the kids know we compare notes. And they're like, oh, so are you chatting to Miss about me? And I was like, yeah, because I can, but I don't have to. Because instead, I use my time for lesson planning and marking and just tons of other useless things. Well, not useless, but I mean, we have to set the sixth formers tests, and I'm still getting the hang of setting it at the right level. So some of them are really difficult, some of them are really easy, but I'm getting there. So nothing really happened, and it was fine. And there were a couple of events. There was like a meet the third and fourth form parents evening, which was really awkward because obviously all of these people were like, well, they're parents, and they are older, shall we say. And I was just stood there with glasses of champagne, and I just thought, I have nothing to really say to these people. I mean, I don't do small talk. I'm not that interested in what they do. I don't care. Not only that, but half of their kids I don't actually teach anyway, so I have no idea who they are. I mean, housemasters and housemistresses, chances are they will know who the kids are because they're in charge of them. I, on the other hand, am not in charge of them, and therefore I'm like, well, do I know your child? I might have seen him walking around, I might have told him to stop shouting at someone at some point, I don't know who you are. So it was a really interesting night. I use that term loosely. But it was fine, I survived, I didn't get drunk, I didn't say anything outrageous, I just sat there quietly and looked respectful. Other bonus to this job, got a flat in the college. It's in a day house. That means that all of the kids are gone by 6 o'clock normally, maybe 8 o'clock at the latest, depending if they stay for school or not, for evening school or not. But it's actually really quite nice. It's actually quite spacious as well. Like, I have a nice large lounge, I have a separate kitchen, bathroom, bedroom. It is a complete tip at the moment, because I've used the excuse that I teach, therefore I can't clean. And now on my Christmas holidays, I'm just like, on my holidays, I can't possibly use my spare time to clean. So it'll never get that. I just like kind of swayed my mother. She wants to come around with a Hoover. Take care of it. It's fine. But no, all of the kids seem to enjoy my lessons. I had another parents' evening, third form parents' evening, so like the really small kids. But I have to keep reminding myself they're not year 7, they're actually year 9. But some of them act like they should be in year 7. And it was really, really good fun because unlike the sixth formers, my third form class are far more boisterous. So they are, you just know who they are quite quickly. And so I had actually got to grips with all their names. I knew exactly who they were, and I knew exactly what I was going to say about all of them. Because by this point, I'd be teaching them for about a month and a half, as opposed to just 2 weeks. And yeah, so I was like, oh yeah, third form parents' evening, bring it on, let's do this. And all the parents were like, oh, you're so young. Oh, I thought you were a student. So I was like, no, I'm a teacher, obviously. In fact, one of the boys, his mother came up to me. She was like, oh, you must be Mr. Loxton. I was like, I must be? Why? It's like, oh, my son told me to look for a young man in a skinny, tight suit that looks really uncomfortable. I can guess whose parent you are. I mean, it was a completely accurate description. I have a skinny suit. I am one of the youngest members of staff. In fact, I think I'm the youngest, with the exception of the PGC student. And I look completely uncomfortable. That was great fun. But I mean, it it was fine as an evening. All of the parents said, "Oh, my kids really enjoy your lessons. And they really want to stay in your math set. They don't want to move down. Not because they have any love for the subject, but they just like you." And I was like, "Wow, stop! Tell me more. How brilliant I am." Yeah, thanks. So I mean, that was good fun. I am quite well known throughout the student populace for being one of the youngest members of staff and also for having a really relaxed attitude to everything. Like, as soon as I'm done teaching, when I'm teaching, I'll always wear a suit. I'll always wear a tie, I'll always have a jacket on, whatever. As soon as I am done teaching, jeans and t-shirt, I will always make sure they are respectable jeans. So unlike the ones that I am currently wearing that have, holes in the knee and everything else, I always make sure they don't have any holes. But always jeans and a t-shirt. And if it's really, really cold, I'll always walk around in a big, thick hoodie as well. So all the kids know who I am because they're like, "Oh, it's that." And so I was like, "That's nonsense." In fact, I went out to dinner a couple of last week, on the last week of term, and it was absolutely freezing. So I was in thick jeans, which have a pattern running down the leg. I was in a turtleneck. I had a neck warmer that I'd pulled down to up to about there, and I had I had my hoodie on. And just walking from where I live to the dining hall, I suddenly heard one of the kids in the queue say, "Oh, that's Mr. Loxton." I was like, "Subtle." So they all know who I am. They also know who I am because at one point there were two discos, one for the third and fourth formers, one for the fifth and sixth formers. And it was bonfire night, and the kids are like, "Oh, so you should come along." I was like, "No, I'm a teacher, I won't." I thought, actually, it could be a bit of fun. I was like, "Do teachers go to this?" And one of the other teachers was like, "Oh, yeah, there's always members of staff there just to make sure it doesn't get out of hand." So I turned up. And, I just stood outside, and the fourth formers that said that I should go saw me standing there for one time. "Oh, sir, come dance with us." I was like, "No, I'm just here in my teaching capacities, responsible, mature adult." I was like, "Oh, sir, that's so boring." Oh, I was like, "Oh, it's fine. You go enjoy yourself. I want to stand here and make sure no one's doing anything dangerous, getting hurt." Standing there got really, really boring after a while, so I started busting a move which involved cartwheels, handstands, and other things. And all of the kids were like, "Wow, Mr. Loxton." Funnily enough, the girls that actually wanted me to go in the first place completely missed this. And as they were walking out, like, "Sir, you should have danced." And someone came around and went, "Didn't you see his handstand?" I'm like, "No, sir, do it again." I was like, one time thing. And one of my fifth formers was actually DJing, and he was like, "Oh, sir, you've got some serious moves." I was like, please don't tell people that. Anyway, this is the fifth and sixth form disco, which is a far more lively affair. In fact, I was again just dancing off in the corner with a couple of the a couple of gap year students, because the school has kids from Australia and wherever else in the world, like year placements just between school and uni. And so I was dancing up with them, and suddenly these three guys appeared who were about 6'4", built like trucks, like, "Oh, sir, come dance in the middle." I was like, "No, help me." None of the gappers helped me, so I got dragged off into the middle of this dance circle and they wouldn't let me out. I was just like, "Please let me out, please let me out, please let me out. Oh my god, if you don't let me out right now, I'm going to put you in detention." And a couple of them had been drinking. I don't know if they're supposed to have been or not. I assume not. One of the kids came up to me and he's like clapped me on the shoulder and was like, "You fucking rocked that one." I was like, "Do you have any idea who I am?" He was like, "Yeah, you're a fucking legend." I was like, "I'm the new maths teacher." I was like, "Oh, bitching." I was like, "Please take your hand off my shoulder." I was like, "Dude, you're amazing. Up top." And I was like, "No." I think he was really, really drunk. I have no idea who he is, so I couldn't put him out in the crowd. So that was fun. lot of wars.